started on a Tuesday, just another regular day in downtown Atlanta. The kind of day where buses run late, phones die in the middle of scrolling, and everyone is just trying to make it home. Nobody had a clue that something ancient was waking up, something that hadn't moved in 30,000 years. Jaden Carter didn't think twice about it when he stood up to give his seat to the woman who stepped onto the crowded bus. She looked exhausted, pregnant, carrying too many grocery bags, her blonde hair frizzing in the thick southern heat. It wasn't a big thing. Jaden was raised better than to sit when a woman, especially one struggling, was standing. So he nodded, smiled, stood, and offered his seat. Simple. Human. She hesitated for just a second. "Thank you," she said quietly, her eyes searching his. There was something more in her gaze than just tired gratitude. Something deeper. Then, she handed him a folded note. It looked like nothing, just a scrap of paper from the bottom of her purse, creased and slightly smudged. Jaden didn't open it right away. The bus jolted forward, and he held onto the rail as they moved on through the city, unaware that with that one act, one choice, his life had shifted course completely. Across the skies of Earth, high above, the clouds where satellites drift and space stations blink, something stirred. Hidden beneath the polar ice for millennia, sealed by time and tectonics, a signal flared to life. It wasn't loud, it wasn't obvious, but it was there, pulsing quietly like a heartbeat. The kind of signal only certain beings would notice. In the distant reaches of space beyond human maps and probes, the signal echoed out like a whisper through the void, and they heard it. They remembered Earth. Not as it was now, with its buzzing cities, glowing screens, and endless noise, but as it was the last time they walked upon it. A wild, green place, untamed. A world they'd once touched and left behind, haste abandoning what they could not carry. A damaged ship, valuable supplies, and a secret so dangerous it had to be buried beneath ice and silence. Now they were coming back. Jaden finally opened the note as he stepped off the bus and into the evening air. The city smelled like rain and traffic, the air heavy with late, summer heat. The paper felt oddly cold in his fingers. Inside, the handwriting was neat but strange, each letter carefully printed. "You are one of the few who can still feel what's coming. Go to 328 Moreland Avenue. Ask for the archivist. And whatever happens, don't look up at the sky tonight." He laughed at first. Some kind of joke, he thought. Maybe she was part of a street performance thing, or just eccentric. But something. About the chill that ran down his spine as he folded the note again, told him this was no prank. Something was happening. Something big. He could feel it in his bones, the way you feel a storm coming even when the sky looks clear. By midnight, the first strange lights appeared over Greenland. Blue. Pulsing. Silent. In NASA control rooms, alarms began to ping. Not debris, not satellites, not anything they'd seen before. And at the ruins of a forgotten research station, buried deep in ancient glacial layers, steel doors that had no earthly origin shuddered and cracked open. The ice split with an eerie groan, revealing blackened metal and lights that hadn't flickered in 30 millennia. Jaden's phone buzzed. No name, just a number he didn't recognize. Unknown. "You opened the note. Good. Now run." He blinked at the screen, heart pounding, but before he could reply, the screen went black. Not powered off. Dead. Every light in the street flickered for a second, then came back. He turned in place, suddenly aware of the strange silence around him. The crickets had stopped. The traffic had slowed. Somewhere far off, a dog barked once and went quiet. Something massive passed overhead, casting a brief, unnatural shadow. And still, nobody looked up. Jaden stood frozen, note still in hand, when a voice behind him said, "You're late, they're already here." He spun around, and there she was. The same woman from the bus, standing now in a different coat, her belly no longer rounded with pregnancy. No bags, no exhaustion, just calm, sharp eyes and a strange metal device in her hand that hummed faintly. "You gave me your seat," she said. "That means something. To them, to us." Jaden's throat tightened. What the hell is going on? She didn't smile, didn't blink, just looked past him into the sky. Earth was never alone. We just forgot the first time they came. They didn't come in war, but they didn't leave in peace either. And now, they've come back. For what they left. Jaden looked up slowly, against everything the note had told him. And there, framed by the stars, was something massive. Silent, beautiful, terrifying. A ship, unlike anything ever built by human hands, was descending through the clouds, its surface black as space, glowing faintly with shifting patterns like liquid metal. Jaden staggered back, his breath caught in his throat. What do they want? The woman looked at him. You. Before he could speak, the street around them lit up with an unnatural glow. Windows shattered from a high-frequency sound that no ear could hear, but every soul could feel. From somewhere, deep beneath the city, a low hum began to rise. And in that moment, Jaden Carter realized something he could never explain to anyone. This wasn't about aliens coming back. It was about who we had become in the time since they left, and what they had buried in us before they disappeared. He clutched the note, tighter, heart racing. The sky cracked open and the story was just beginning. The ground didn't shake, but Jaden felt like it should have. That ship, if it even was a ship, hung there in the sky like it belonged, casting an unnatural twilight glow over the city. It wasn't loud. No jets, no roaring engines. Just the kind of stillness that presses on your chest and makes it hard to breathe. The woman from the bus, or whoever she was now, stepped beside him, watching the sky with a faraway look. She seemed calm, like she'd seen this before, like she'd been waiting. Jaden swallowed hard. You said they're here. For me. She turned toward him, her expression softer now. Not just you, but you're part of this. You're connected to something buried long ago, something even they don't fully understand. He blinked. They who? Aliens? What are they? What's in that ship? She didn't answer right away. She just looked around, like she was making sure they weren't being watched, then pulled him toward a narrow alley behind a shuttered laundromat. The moment they stepped out of the streetlights, the air changed. It was cooler here, quieter, like stepping into another world. My name is Mara, she said finally. And what I'm about to tell you, you're not supposed to know. Nobody is. But the clock just jumped forward a few thousand years faster than expected. Jaden leaned against the brick wall, hands still clutching the note like it might explain all of this. I didn't ask for any of this. No one ever does, she said simply. But sometimes history picks people. And right now you're holding a thread that's tied to the past and the future at the same time. He stared at her. What does that even mean? Mara pulled something from her coat. It looked like a metal tablet, but it had no screen, no buttons. Just smooth, dark surface etched with symbols that shimmered faintly when she touched them. Jaden didn't recognize the language, if it was a language, but it made something behind his eyes tingle. A half-formed image flashed in his mind. A cold mountain, a black door, a light beneath the ice. 30,000 years ago, Mara began, Earth wasn't empty. Not the way we thought. There were visitors, explorers, scientists. Some called them invaders, but truth is, they were lost. Their ship crashed during a deep scan of the solar system. It was never supposed to happen. But something here, something on Earth, interfered with their systems. They believed it was a mineral anomaly at first. Then they thought it might be electromagnetic interference. But in the end, it wasn't physical. Jaden frowned. So what was it? Mara paused. Consciousness. Thought. Something about the way human minds work. Even back then. Primitive as we were, we interrupted them. Jaden laughed nervously. So, you're saying our thoughts crashed an alien ship? In a way, they underestimated us. Or rather, they didn't expect anything here to push back. But when they realized what happened, they left, not willingly. Their ship was damaged, their tools were scattered. A few stayed behind to hide the evidence, to bury what they couldn't take. That's what's under the ice. That's what's waking up now. Jaden looked down at the note again, then back at her. And what's that got to do with me? Mara exhaled slowly. You're part of the line, a bloodline, descendants of the people who made contact, not just saw the crash, but felt it. Your ancestors passed it down without even knowing. Sensitivity, awareness, a pull toward the sky. I'm just a kid from East Point, Jaden muttered. You're more than that. You always were. He opened his mouth to argue, but the sound of low-frequency humming cut through the night air. Mara stiffened, then yanked him deeper into the alley. Above them, shadows moved. 3 dark drones, sleek and silent, gliding over rooftops with no visible propulsion. Their underbellies glowed with scanning lights, pulsing faintly. Are those human? Jaden asked, heart racing. No, Mara whispered. They're scouts, automated, scanning for traces of memory. They can't read thoughts, but they're picking up emotional resonance. Places people have felt too much. Grief, fear, compassion. Those moments leave a kind of imprint. That's how they find people like you. Jaden's pulse thundered in his ears. So they're tracking emotions? Mara nodded. And earlier today you felt something strong. Empathy. That's what triggered the note. That's what woke the ship. He stared at her. Just for giving up my seat? Kindness is rare, Mara said. Even rarer when it's genuine. You didn't hesitate, and they noticed. Jaden leaned against the wall, trying to make sense of it all. A strange ship in the sky. A woman who wasn't what she seemed. Machines tracking feelings. And now, somehow, he was in the middle of it all. I don't want this, he whispered. I know, she said gently, but we need you. Suddenly, the ground trembled. Just for a second. A deep rumble. Far away, but real Mara's eyes widened. That's not supposed to happen yet. What was that? Jaden asked. The retrieval sequence. They're moving faster than we thought. Jaden took a step toward her. What are they retrieving? She met his gaze. A vault. One of several. They buried them across the planet. Not just supplies, knowledge, experiments, things they couldn't risk taking with them. But there was one vault, the central one, that housed something different. Jaden's voice dropped. What? Mara's face was pale now. It wasn't a weapon, not in the way we think of weapons. It was a seed, a beginning, an intelligence, something they designed to learn, to mimic life. But something went wrong. It started adapting too fast. It became unpredictable. And they left it here? He asked, horrified. They didn't have a choice. They sealed it. Deep beneath, the ice with layers of psychic dampening. For 30,000 years it slept. Jaden looked up at the glowing clouds again, the silhouette of that alien ship still hanging like a god over the city. And now? He whispered. Mara's hand went to her side, pulling out something that looked like a worn leather case. You might keep old tools or delicate instruments in. She opened it slowly, revealing a faintly glowing crystal embedded in a mesh of wires. Now, she said, they're here to wake it up. Jaden took a step back. Why would they want to bring back something dangerous? Because to them, it's not just dangerous, it's valuable. It evolved beyond them. It became something new. And now, after all this time, they're not just here to retrieve it. Mara's eyes narrowed. They're here to learn from it. Before Jaden could speak, a sharp mechanical screech filled the air, a metallic howl that echoed across the rooftops. Lights flickered across the city as a blackout wave rolled through, block by block. The sky pulsed with that same deep blue light from the ship. Jaden's phone sparked once, then went completely dead. Mara grabbed his arm. We need to move now. Where? He asked, his voice cracking. To the archivist, she said. He's the only one who knows how to stop what's coming. They ran. Behind them, the first of the vault doors cracked open.